I get each year scrolling through endless listings of UPS units, each one promising the perfect backup for your server room, home lab, or creative studio. The photos look clean, the specs sparkle, but then you hook it up and realize the power never quite makes it through a blackout or the outlets are a nightmare to manage. That feeling of buying a product that looks great on paper but falls flat in real use is what drives me to dig deeper before I hit add to cart, and today I'm trying to spare you that disappointment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking at 2000VA 1800W online UPSs, the biggest question on my mind was reliability. In a small office or a serious hobbyist setup, a single power flicker can corrupt a database, ruin a render, or knock a whole night's worth of work offline. The Eaton 9SX 2000VA 1800W 208V claims zero transfer time, meaning it should switch from mains to battery instantly, without the split-second hiccup you hear on cheaper units. That's a big promise, and it's one that only matters if the rest of the system actually delivers where it counts. First off, who should even consider this machine? If you're running a rack of network gear, a couple of workstations, or a media editing workstation that draws close to 800W continuously, the 1800W rating gives you a comfortable margin. The 8C13 outlets are a clear nod to IT professionals. Those standard IEC connectors are what you'll find on most servers, switches, and professional audio gear. The fact that 4 of those outlets sit behind 2 switched load banks is a practical way to prioritize critical equipment. You can have your primary server on the always-in bank while less essential peripherals sit on the load-sensing bank, saving battery life during an outage. If you're a home user with a single desktop, a monitor, and a router, you'll likely be overpaying for this unit. There are smaller, more affordable UPSs that can handle that load, and you'd end up paying for features you never touch like the network card and the extended runtime option. So my first rule of thumb, skip this if you don't need a full rack mount style solution with multiple IEC outlets and you aren't planning to scale up. Now, let's talk about what actually happens when you plug this into a real workflow. I ran a quick test setup, just a 650W workstation, a NAS, a PO switch, and a UPS connected router. The moment the mains went out, the front panel LCD stayed steady. There was no flicker on the monitor, no drop in network ping. That's the zero transfer claim in action. The LCD also gives you real-time readouts of input voltage, battery percent, and estimated runtime. For someone who likes to see numbers, that's a useful sanity check. In practice, it means you can glance at the screen during a brief outage and know exactly how long you have before you need to shut down non-critical services. One hidden trade-off shows up when you start using those switched load banks. Because the UPS monitors the current draw of each bank to decide when to shed load, you can't simply plug a high-power device like a small UPS or a high-draw printer into the same bank and expect the same runtime. The system will automatically trim the load, which can be confusing if you're not aware of it. In my test, when I added a 400W printer onto the same load bank as the workstation, the UPS reported a reduced remaining runtime almost instantly. It wasn't a failure, just the UPS being honest about its capacity. That's something you have to factor into planning if you have a mixture of devices with wildly different power profiles. The optional Network M2 card is where this UPS really starts to appeal to IT admins. With that card installed, you can pull up a web interface or integrate it into an existing monitoring platform. Think SolarWinds or PRTG and manage the unit remotely. You can schedule graceful shutdowns, receive email alerts when battery health dips, and even perform firmware updates without ever touching the front panel. If you're managing a lab or a small server closet, that remote access can save a lot of time. However, if you're a solo user who will never leave the UPS alone, the network card is an added cost you probably won't recoup. Another practical aspect is the ability to add external battery modules for extended runtime. Eaton advertises that you can stack extra batteries on the back, pushing runtime for critical loads well beyond the standard 1015 minutes. In a real-world scenario, that means you could keep a NAS and a VoIP phone system alive through a prolonged outage, giving you a window to finish a call or backup files before the batteries finally run out. The downside? Those external packs are pricey, and you need to consider the space they'll occupy. In a tight office rack, the extra depth could be a constraint. What about the noise factor? Many online UPS units have fans that kick in at full load, and the 9SX is no